Rise and shine. It's time to get the day started with the only morning show dedicated solely to the homestead community. Good morning, everyone. I hope you all are staying warm out there today. It's colder than a well digger's shoe, let me tell you. And since I brought that up, let's go to Jack with the Redneck Weather Report. All right, here we go. Heading on over to see Jack. That's right.
Good morning, rednecks. It is 18 degrees, January the 7th, 2025. Feels like it's 9 degrees. We got a cold wind coming out of the north, but we're supposed to get to 36 degrees today. God bless y'all. See you again tomorrow. Good morning, red.
All right. Thank you, Jack. That is absolutely pretty close to the weather that I am having this morning. Good morning, Scotty. And awesome. Glad to see you got that posted. I'll have to go check out that daily verse on Facebook here in a little bit. Glad to have you in this morning. Appreciate Jack. That was pretty accurate weather. I'm not even going to pick mine up. It is that cold out here this morning. So anyway, just a reminder, of course, Scotty already knows this is a live chat event, so feel free to join in. And now for today's Reality Smackdown. That's right. John Deere headlines for today. These are coming from Reuters. Let's see. Let's go over here. Let's go to share screen. All right. Get that up. That's right. John Deere boost bet on autonomous tractors with new machines. They were at the CES, which is Computer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, Monday, and man, tractors, building new tractors, industrial equipment capable of operating without the need for a human being in the cab. They're making strides towards automation, which is supposed to work on a big scale. All kinds of kits. Caterpillar's getting involved in on that. So that is absolutely amazing. Good morning, Caleb Duda from Washington State. My goodness, man, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning out there. Welcome in. Glad to have you with us. Hope this gets you. It's 6. We're out here in the Eastern Central Time Zone. You're out there on that West Coast. It's early. We're glad you're joining us. Anyway, next headline up this morning is, let's see which one's up next. Now, this is kind of going into some stuff we've been talking about lately, but anyway, and we are going to share that. Well, let's get the old ad off. I hate them ads. Anyway, yesterday, Louisiana reports first bird flu related death in the U.S. Now, we know what that means when it says related. Summary: Louisiana patient was over 65 with underlying health conditions. That's key. Says nearly 70 people have contracted bird flu since April, but most cases have been mild. Risk to general public remains low. So, Jan 6 Reuters, U.S. patient been hospitalized with H5N1 flu has died, making the first reported human death from the virus. Now, I don't know if it's from the virus or he had the virus. Is this another one of those 2020 stats, that kind of works the same way? Over 65 underlying medical conditions, high risk for serious disease. Let's see, ongoing outbreak, 130 million. Now, there's something right here. An analysis of the virus from the patient showed it belongs to the D1.1 genotype, the same type that's recently been detected in wild birds and poultry in Washington State. There you go, Caleb. This is happening up there in your world, as well as recent severe case in a teen in British Columbia. It is different. It's different from the B3.13 genotype currently in U.S. dairy cows, which has mostly been associated with mild symptoms in human cases, including conjunctivitis or pink eye, which basically means you're getting in the stuff, you're mucking around, getting in the poo, and not washing your hands, wiping your eyes, that kind of thing. Anyway, CDS said the general public risk remains low. All right. So people will work with birds, poultry, cows, or recreation are higher risk. Well, yeah, I could see that. But anyway, so yeah. Anyway, uniformly mild. I don't know. There it is. Take it for what it is. We're just going to leave that there. Good morning, Robbie. Glad to see you in this morning, bud. Okay. Hey, there's Greg Duncan. Good morning, Greg. Good to see you too. All right, let's see if I'm in. Yep. All right. And anyway, all right, we're going to keep on trucking along. We got one more, and this one is exactly related to what we were just talking about. And this is going to be key because what we were just talking about with this bird flu, all right, we've been talking about it with, how do I get out of the ad? So there we go. Okay, I just go on through. U.S. to award $306 million for bird flu monitoring and preparedness. Okay, now again, this is Reuters. It was updated 4 days ago, January 3rd. So it's a couple of days old, but the point is it's all connected. And that's the point of the whole thing. It is all connected. U.S. to award $306 million for bird flu monitoring and preparedness. Now listen, get this. The U.S. Department of Health Human Services on Friday said it would award $306 million in funds to help bird flu monitoring as the virus spreads in dairy herds and farm workers across the country. Country in December reported its first severe human case of bird flu in Louisiana resident. Well, we just read what happened in that situation, and that was a backyard plot. Again, key important thing: different strand than what's in the cows and that type of stuff. Two different strands here. Still bird flu, but two different strands. And it breaks this down to CDC, the National Institute of Health, and let's see, where's the other one? Of course, it's going to make me click on something to read more. Anyway, so a lot of these are adding additional money. Skip the ad. I don't know how to do this. I just hate to skip the ad. Anyway, so that's kind of what's going on. Now, the reason I say this is connected because, relatively low cases, it says risk to humans remains low. They're always preparing for any possible scenario, said HH Secretary Xavier Becerra, who was on his way out. Not on my little headlines here is the fact that, well, yesterday they confirmed the election results, and so hey, we managed to make it through. That's right. All right, yeah, got through yesterday, which is good, and we're heading off into today and heading in towards January 20th, where hopefully the inauguration and everything goes off without any major problems. But anyway, so that just all kind of connected. Now, the John Deere, I brought that up because the other day I talked about AI and automation, and kind of where things are going. And hey, listen, put the tractor out there and it's running automated, it's doing its thing. I can see where that could be helpful. Just letting you know the direction we're going. Even in my industry in trucking, it's doing the same thing. They're trying to figure out how to automate, and that's going to be happening. Now, like I said, these two bird flu stories, they are connected absolutely, because man. Anyway, that is the reality smackdown for the day. Yeah. Anyway, let's jump right on into this day in history. January 7th, 1784, the first U.S. seed business established by David Landreth in Philadelphia. So, man, let's count that up. That's 200 plus years. That's a long time, the seed business. Apparently, it was, 1780, late 1700s, they were trying to, plant seeds. So that's ongoing. 1790, French Revolution, major riot breaks out in Versailles, France, as people demand lower bread prices. Have you been down and got a loaf of bread lately? Anyway, that's going on. But funny thing is, what did she say? Let them eat cake. Yeah, kind of get a similar feeling coming from some of them people these days. I don't know about y'all, but anyway, we're going to jump way forward. 1992, AT&T releases the video telephone. Now, for those who have phones, and we almost all do, there's a handful of holdouts, but, we got this thing now. Good morning in the kitchen and garden with Trish. Glad to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us in here. The price on the video telephone in 1992 was $1,499. Now, I ain't done today's, what that would be in today's prices, but I know that smartphone that I just held up is not much cheaper, but it does a whole lot more than just a video telephone. But in 1992, that was some pretty high tech stuff and very expensive. Uh, these next two are just kind of, funny. Those of us that are old enough to remember, 1998, former White House intern Monica Lewinsky signs an affidavit denying she had an affair with President Bill Clinton. Mm. Turning 1999, on this same day, Bill Clinton's impeachment trial begins in the Senate after the House voted to impeach him for lying about his affair with Monica Lewinsky. Yeah, 1 year apart, but man, what a connection. Just for those who remember the 90s and what that was like. Uh, wow, I'm going to hop in here. Look at this. Okay, this is Caleb Davis. He's out of Washington State. Eggs are $25 for 5 dozen. So $5 a dozen costs six just to have eggs and toast. Yeah, Caleb, prices are getting crazy all over the place. And that's honestly that's why so many people are part of the many reasons people are going back to having backyard chickens and raising their own. But yeah, prices are high. You go to the box stores and places, and there was a time that it cost you more to get organic eggs, and I haven't bought any eggs lately. My kitchen's torn apart. It's kind of hard, not really good point to have eggs when you can't cook them. But we're in the middle of a renovation in our house. But anyway, that's just where prices are at, and that's Washington State, folks, right up here in the Northwest. Now, this next one may seem unrelated, but we're in the homestead world, and it is pig related. First successful transplant, 2022 on this day. First successful transplant of a pig's heart into a human with genetically modified pig's heart inserted into a 53-year-old man in Baltimore, Maryland. And that is our day in history. So we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of today's show, and that is homestead emergency preparedness. Kind of what we're looking at, a 2-week emergency preparedness plan. And I was thinking about today's show and trying to find a really great topic, honestly. I stumbled upon this article that I have in my news feed from a couple months ago, and it kind of got me thinking. And it was about emergency preparedness because of the hurricanes and things that had just happened. And it was an interesting read, and it made me realize that homesteaders need a plan catered to their specific needs. So I got busy on my old Chat GPT, my AI helper, and this is what we produced for today. Now I realize, we'll make a little note here. I realize homesteaders are probably honestly among the most prepared uh, people on the planet. But even the most seasoned homesteader and prepper can learn a thing or two. And this is just some interesting stuff to read through and go check out. But we will, let me see. Yeah, here we go. All right. Homesteading emergency, 2-week emergency preparedness plan. Key objectives: maximize use of homestead resources for food, water, power, and shelter. Ensure the sustainability of livestock and crops. Maintain tools and infrastructure for emergencies. Seems pretty simple, straightforward, and makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know how many of y'all have thought about prep. We think about it because if we're homesteading and we're out here doing this, then our mind is in that direction. But supplies, no, $18 for 5 dozen at Walmart last night in Fort Smith. All right, Greg, there's an answer to Caleb's. That's so let me see, what is that? That's $7 difference from Washington State to down here in the Oklahoma Arkansas border country. So there you go. That's a big difference right there. I'm sure they've got some handy dandy little excuse like, I don't know, shipping or freight or taxes or something. But anyway, let's get back into this. Number one, supplies checklist. Uh, Food preservation, fresh produce, harvest what's ripe in your garden, root, vegetables, greens. Use seasonal produce to create preserved foods. They're getting into canning, dehydrating, freezing, or freeze drying even. And Stockpile preserved foods, home canned fruits, vegetables, and meat, dried herbs, beans, grains, spices, fermented foods like sauerkraut and pickles. You can have your sauerkraut. Uh, Anyway, protein sources, fresh eggs, collect and wash as needed. Meat from livestock, frozen, stored, cuts from prior butchering. Cheese, milk, yogurt from your dairy's animal, if you have that. Cooking alternatives, make sure you have like an outdoor fire pit, a rocket stove, wood stove. Stock up plenty of firewood, they say. So that's just on the food front. Now, one of the things that when I was reading through that, it was water, which we're about to get into. But was, you got to have to store up 2 weeks worth of stuff for every person on in your family there that lives with you is going to be with you, and um, then also, of course, making sure you got plenty of feed for the animals, and we'll get into that in a minute. Now, this is predicated on the idea, just to kind of give a little back in, that we're 2 weeks without support, as we saw in the Carolinas, as we saw on the East Coast over there when the hurricane came in. It took a long time to get to those rural areas, and a lot of your preparation lists are set for people in town, people in more urban areas. But farmers, ranchers, preppers, homesteaders, people like me who just like to live out and haven't quite gone into the homesteading full on into that yet. It's a little further out for us. Getting to us might take a little longer, as we saw up in Chimney Rock and those places like that. The further out, the longer it's going to take. And we've seen out there, whole roads were washed away. And I remember at the time thinking, man, if we had that much water blow into our area here in the River Valley, this area around Fort Smith, Arkansas, we would have that same kind of flooding. We would have that devastating flooding if that much water hit where we're from. And I don't know about where y'all are at. I know Robbie's, he's in the Delta, he's down in the southern part of Arkansas, and I know them Delta plains can flood out, pretty good. And I know Greg probably remembers like I do when, the river behind where we grew up got up really, really high. I mean, the bottomlands were flooded and the dam, it was running. I mean, it was bad one time. And so it can happen, that way. So back into this. Next was water management. So the first was, hang on, back my own notes up here. Supplies checklist, making sure that, and then food preservation. That was number one. Food preservation. Second, water management, water storage. Fill water barrels, rainwater tanks, or cisterns. Make sure you can water. Ensure at least 2 weeks of stored water for each family member and livestock. That's a lot of water. Uh, and so water filtration. So you're talking about 14 gallons of water per person, and we know the animals can drink more. Uh, Water filtration, use ceramic water filters, boiling, gravity fed filtration. For livestock, water keeps trough filled, protected from freezing if cold applies on a day like today. Uh, Rainwater catchment, is a big option there. At least if you live where rainwater is allowed. That's a big option right there. So making sure you got plenty of water, because we can survive 3 minutes without oxygen or air. We can survive 3 days without water and 3 weeks without food. So water is definitely a high priority on any type of preparation for long-term stuff. And those who have animals, water is always a thing anyway. You make sure you have water for the animals and water for your crops, et cetera, et cetera. Uh, moving off of water, like I said, that's a high priority along with food. Energy and power solutions, power backups, solar panels, charge batteries ahead of time if you got a solar system. Backup generators, like what I use. Make sure you got fueled with gasoline or biodiesel from stored reserves. Um, you know, that's a big one. Now, gasoline. Uh, you take gasoline, you put some gasoline will last a pretty good time. You put some Sta-Bil in, and gas can last a year or two, as long as you put something in it to preserve, kind of help stabilize it, keep it from breaking down. Now, a couple of my generators are gasoline, and I've got one that's diesel that I'm working on right now. Got a smoking deal on that. Got it's a 12K, I think it's 10K 4-cylinder diesel generator. Picked that thing up for a couple $100. It just needs some work, and that's the homesteader way anyway. And that may be a future project I show off, because I'm looking forward to getting that one up and going. Uh, anyway, lighting, oil, oil lamps, lanterns, candles, because if you're having to run on generators, quite honestly, you don't want to use up that power just for lights. It's primary, at least in my mind, that's to keep your refrigerators, going so you can have, and maybe your stove or whatever. But if you're using alternate cooking, that's mainly to keep like your food stored and that kind of stuff. Is what my look is. Uh, as Trace says, see, notice by us, more houses have solar. A lot of people are going to the solar backup. There, depending on which state you live in, there's programs that make that available where it's discounted. So, definitely you're going to see more and more of that. People are going that way as a backup, or even net metering, so that it helps reduce down their electric bill. Like I said, a lot of programs out there. I would urge you to check into that, see what's available in your area. Uh, may be able to make it where it's affordable to have that. Um, Rechargeable batteries and solar powered lights. As far as heating, cooking, stockpile firewood for wood stoves and cooking. Ensure your heating system is operable without electricity. You can't see it, but off to my right over here is a fireplace. It ain't a great one. I got a lot of work to do to it, but it could, in a pinch, it could burn. I do keep firewood handy for it, but if you don't have that, I'm not sure what that is up there. You just have to check that up there, Tracy. Check around and see what, because like I said, I know down here in Arkansas, Oklahoma, there's a lot of programs out there for solar, and I'm sure it would be the same up there. Uh, so anyway, but wood burner stove, some means of heat besides the old electric central heat and air unit, or just electric based, because without electricity, obviously we're going to have problems. Anyway, I'm going to try to blow through these real quick. We're going to be posting this up on this whole list is going to be getting posted up on our pages, so that you can have access to those lists, because I'm looking at the clock and getting up on it just a little bit. But anyway, homestead infrastructure, tool and equipment maintenance. Make sure all your on the Max channel, Kobe has lots of videos on things to prepare with. Mentioned lots of things you don't always think about. Yeah, Kobe is. I'm going to pull that up so you can see that. Kobe is real good at that kind of stuff. I agree. He's, there's constantly advertisements. I say advertisements, mentionings from him and from others about generators. And like Dutch, I know they went off grid for a long time. They used generators and that type of stuff. So, yeah, there's a lot of YouTube resources out there from guys like Kobe and the Max and stuff. And let's see, here we go. Caleb, we raise goats for dairy and meat. We plant perennials, cover crops. We use goat manure, spend alfalfa for building compost for the red wigglers to create free food for the chickens. Absolutely, absolutely. Sounds like you've definitely gotten into some regenerative farming and regenerative crop stuff out there using those. Sounds like you're on it, Caleb. That's good stuff. Just curious if you're over in the eastern side of Washington, or if you're a little closer to the coast. But I'm kind of guessing. I'd guess the eastern side of the state based on some of the comments there. Anyway, let's get back. Sharpen tools, refuel fuel for tractors, chainsaws, everything. Stock repair materials for fencing, barns, coops, shelter and animal safety. Reinforce structures, protect livestock from predators and harsh weather. Next is communication and transportation. Keep battery powered, solar charged radios for weather, emergency updates. Ensure your farm fields equipment have enough fuel for 2 weeks. Identify, and that's what I was talking about, the fuel and stable. We can keep fuel handy. And identify and prepare routes for safe evacuation if needed, especially for transporting livestock. Now, getting into livestock. Prepare enough feed, hay, or silage for 2 weeks. Rotate pasture strategically if you have that. Check fencing, secure shelters against weather. Crops, cover delicate plants with frost blankets in the winter, or set up drip irrigation or rainwater systems for long-term watering. Focus on harvesting, processing, preserving crops to prevent spoilage. Um, and let's see. Oh yeah. So those are kind of that thing. I mean, those who have animals and those who have livestock, y'all guys are going to know best how to take care of that. But you got to. It's real easy in the midst of everything, trying to prepare for everything. And one of the things that read in the other article and it didn't put in here is, have phone contact plan. With people with a family member or very close friend who lives outside of the area, Chehalis, Washington. Okay, not sure. I don't. That's one I haven't heard of. But anyway, the anyway, have a communication off of away. Somebody, a family member that lives up, that each person in the family that you want to, may be affected in your area has that phone number and can check in with that person so that you have communication with somebody outside, and that they're aware of it, and you have those contact phone numbers and a meetup point. For those who live around you, if you need to meet up for something, so that you make sure everybody's okay. Anyway, last, mental health, family engagement. Homestead projects keep family occupied. So this is like soap making, candle making, crafting. I would say just, the main thing is, game, entertainment, keep collection, board games, puzzles, mindfulness and gratitude. Be kind to each other, basically is what that's saying. Because uh, under, uh, the stress underneath in that situation gets bad, gets real high. It says an action plan, preparation phase, harvest and preserve surplus, you know, check all water storage, prepare. I went through all this stuff. Implementation phase, make sure you got alternate cooking methods, test them out, practice power outage simulation with your family, conduct daily livestock garden checks to measure needs, train family members on using emergency tools like generators and solar panels, and finalize and rehearse an evacuation plan in case you had to evacuate. Uh, Long-term tips: build redundancy in systems, multiple water sources, diverse crops, mix of preserved and fresh foods, practice crop rotation, sustainable grazing, regularly rotate preserved foods to maintain fresh, and maintain relationships. This is very, very important. Maintain relationships with neighboring homesteaders for mutual support during events. Now, that is your community in general. Some of your neighbors may not be homesteaders, but maintain that relationship. Now, that's kind of it in a nutshell. Like I said, we are going to be posting that up. If it's not already up, it'll be up later today on our probably our YouTube community. We'll maybe get that out on the Facebook page. I'm not sure, but we will be getting that out. So if you wanted to be able to have that handy, uh, so that is that with that particular topic. I know I moved through kind of fast, but time demands it. There was a lot of material there. That's why we decided to post it, because I knew there was no way I could dig off into it too deep. Uh, so anyway, talk about some upcoming events for the Farm2Table Direct Show and for y'all as well. Tonight at 7 p.m., we will be live on the Farm2Table Direct Show on the main channel with my brother Keith and I, our regular Tuesday live. Raw realities, we're going to be dealing with having to do with, again, we're back on raw milk because, well, it's something worth talking about, and there's a whole lot more to it tonight that we're going to dig into a little different direction. Um, our guest, we thought we were going to have scheduling circumstances didn't allow that to happen, so me and Keith and Mr. P are going to wing that out there hot and heavy at 7 o'clock tonight. This Thursday coming up, 7 p.m. Central Time as well, we will be on the Suburban Sodbusters channel with Monty Shrunk. He's going to be interviewing us, so we're going to be on his live. So that is 7 p.m. Thursday on the Suburban Sodbusters channel. Of course, we're 70 something days away from Okie Expo, March 21st and 22nd, Okie Homesteading Expo, Mays County Fairground, Pryor, Oklahoma. Tickets are now on sale. It's $50 for a 2-day pass. So get those tickets, get ahead, get your reservations made if you're going up and staying the night and everything, because, man, places book up quick. Keith and I already have our Airbnb. Um, and let's see, coming up, I found this one, April 25th, the Shindig Ozark Living Expo. Robbie, this may be something you're interested in. It's in Jasper, Arkansas, which is an old place, up there around Dog Patch. Those who remember that, it's at the Newton County Fairgrounds, Newton County Fair and Rodeo. That's April 25th and 26th, so you can check that out. Uh, yeah, see, I'm gonna hit this right quick. Let's see, Caleb. Let's see. Please check out your local livestock auction for fresh meat this week. 1,000-pound pig sold for $300 this week. Goats are going for $500. Great opportunity for people that know how to butcher. That's the rest of that statement. Absolutely, always keep an eye on the market, what the sales are doing, and what that's happening there. It's good information, Caleb. Thank you. Homesteaders of America Conference 2025, Front Royal, Virginia. Tickets are on sale now, $50 for a 2-day pass. Listen, these things sell out quick every year. The lineup is incredible. But that's Homesteaders of America Conference for those out on the East Coast. Caleb, I'm not sure about Washington. I know Coeur d'Alene, Idaho in June has a modern homesteading conference. I'm not sure the dates, but that's in June. So, that'd be something close by for y'all guys out there. Reasonably close anyway. I wouldn't call it close, but reasonably close, Coeur d'Alene. But anyway, that's Modern Homesteading Conference. So that's a good one. Well, folks, that is a wrap for today. We're just a few, a little bit over on time. But anyway, that's a wrap for today on the Farm2Table Direct Show Morning Edition. Thanks for joining in with us. And all right. Anyway, all right, go check on. Hey, go get those cows, Greg. Yeah, definitely got to keep an eye on them things. They're a wild bunch you got there. Thanks for jumping in with us, Greg. Anyway, thanks for joining us as we explored the headlines and stories impacting our world now and for the future. If you enjoyed today's show, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channels on Facebook, YouTube, and X. It's the best way to stay connected and help grow the conversation about food, farming, and community. It helps us get this message out to more and more people. It helps us reach more and more people if you'll like, share, and subscribe. Let people know about us. The bigger the impact, the greater, the more we can reach, and the more people more information we can continue to bring to the homesteading community as the only morning show on homesteading. Anyway, and as well as our regular Tuesday Night Live on the Farm2Table Direct Show and all of our event coverage when we go out to these live events. So anyway, until next time, keep your roots deep and your vision growing. Good food starts with great people, and that is y'all. Remember, we are stronger together. It takes the entire community. Be a blessing to someone today, and we will see you on the other